Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business Fitness Podcast. Today we're going to be joined by Emma Keller from the People Group, and Emma is a recruitment specialist. She's been in the business for a long time, she's plenty of experience, and we're going to explore some of the misconceptions about the recruitment industry. We're going to look at the top tips for businesses. And Emma's been a great guest. We've had a brilliant conversation, really flowed, brilliant character, really passionate about business. So there's a lot of really valuable information in here for small business owners. So we hope you enjoy it. As ever, please, if you wouldn't mind liking what we're doing, comment if you have any questions. You'll find us on Instagram, YouTube, all the podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And please like our social media. We've got LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc. So enjoy episode 5. Right, so today we have Emma Keller.
Hello.
Who's a pimp.
Yeah, legal pimp.
Self-professed pimp.
Self-made pimp.
Wow.
You bring people together in the business world.
I do.
Yeah.
I career matchmake.
And you let them off.
Let them go and figure out what's left in life. No, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
I know, I do so much talking to Stephen. He's probably like, just get her on the podcast because I'm sick of
That's
this.
kind of what happened, yeah.
She might stop talking to me.
Oh, we knew you'd be a good guest.
Because I have no filter. I know.
Well, that's we've ascertained that in the last hour. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. I'm the one that'll get you sued.
That only makes it more interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
So there'll be a lot of work for Paddy in the editing suite after this. We've assessed, but that's all right.
Yeah.
He's got his work cut out from.
Let me do my clap. We have to do my clap, and I'll throw it in now. It'll be fine.
What's your clap?
Well, you see the clap.
Action. Take.
No.
Oh.
Lets me sync everything together on video.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's just a little bit of editorial nonsense you don't need to know about.
Sorry, did we just have trouble with an SD disc there?
Yeah.
No. All your secrets. Let's just be honest.
5.
Take 17. So.
Get the kids out.
Yeah. Get off the treadmill, guys. Let's just be honest.
God.
Right, so with the treadmill, right, let's go back to basics. Now, we are here for the Business Fitness Podcast,
Absolutely.
Right? We're in the iGym. And
Makes sense.
the concept is
The iGym.
the fitness of the business. The
Love it.
iGym. Well, what does it say on the wall on the lovely spray
never
paint
in
that
it.
some
I don't
genius
know.
artist
Oh,
did?
it does
by
say
Oh,
hand?
is that what that said all along?
iGym. All right.
I thought it said iGate.
That's okay.
Okay,
Love it.
I like this. This is all making sense now.
So the fitness of the business is dependent on a lot of things, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
When it comes to recruitment, you're bringing in the right people.
absolutely.
The right people could be used as an analogy for the muscles of the body. All the right muscles make the body work well. So you need healthy, strong muscles. You need healthy, strong people.
Are you becoming a fitness
That
instructor?
just came out of his head right now.
Right?
That
Do
wasn't
you
even
think it did
rehearsed.
though?
I think it did.
I thought about it last night.
Okay, we
All
know.
right.
yeah.
In the
We
bath.
haven't
You thought you were natural.
Looking at my muscles that I don't have.
I have a little ones.
Oh, okay. Well, you're getting there. I see these weights are being used for
Does
something. We'll never get around to sorry. Okay, go on. Go.
So the recruitment is a super important function,
Yeah.
obviously, of all businesses.
Absolutely.
And from the perspective of a small business owner or a sole trader, you want to grow the business, you need to bring in people along the
100%.
way. Obviously,
Yeah.
you start with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, most small businesses start with 1, 2, 3 people
Yeah.
maybe. And then you have to build it up over time.
Yeah.
You wear all hats, so you kind of do a little bit of every role until you can bring people in.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to a point where you're overworked,
Yeah.
and hopefully you have enough money that you can start to hire people.
Yeah.
So, from my experience, most small businesses won't have the money to go to a recruitment agency yet,
Correct.
and they will maybe go on LinkedIn, or they'll talk to someone they know, or they'll
Yeah.
hire their wife, or they'll bring in their sister,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Friends.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily
Yeah.
the best skills, but maybe somebody you trust that's going to do it for cheap for a while,
Yeah, of course.
and is an easy option because you don't know the avenues yet.
No.
So we would have looked at websites. What's the best recruitment websites? Okay, we can't afford that one. We can't afford that one.
Yeah.
That one's a quarter of the price. Let's try
Yeah.
that. And then you get a couple of CVs in. In our case, As soon as you get a CV in, you ring them and say, when are you starting?
Yeah, you offered them the job.
You've got the
already.
job, man.
The
Well
CV
done.
looks
let's
great,
go.
right? So
Yeah.
you take people at face value if
Yeah.
you're as
Of course.
naive as us,
Yeah.
and you give people a chance because they come in and
So what 17 languages do you speak?
No, but it's true.
right. So that's kind of the path that you go
Yeah.
on when you're a small
Yeah.
business owner.
Yeah.
You get excited about the thought of somebody coming in. You believe what's on the CV. You do an interview,
Mhm.
hopefully, and you hire.
Yeah.
You take people in, and most of the time, I think it goes fairly wrong within a couple of months because you haven't followed the process. Maybe you
Yeah.
haven't assessed people. You haven't had
Yeah.
10 candidates to pick from.
Yeah.
You've done it in a rush. You've done it on a budget,
You're inexperienced. You don't know the right way to do it.
Yeah.
and you put a lot of faith in
But you're
people.
like, you're like
You're
an-
trusting people are sincere.
Yeah, and you're like a kid at Christmas. You want to open that present, don't
Big
you?
time.
You're so excited. You're like, oh, just come on board and join me because I've already taken a risk and I've gone out and opened a business. Now I'm in a place where I can hire someone. So
Yeah.
it's that excitement factor, and that's a big downfall.
And I think we overestimate ourselves in our ability to judge people, and
Course,
probably
yeah.
overestimate other people. They're going to come in as enthusiastic as I am.
Of course,
They're going to come in and
yeah,
I'm going to be able to show them all my skills,
yeah,
transfer them over, and off they go.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
no, of course not.
So
No, and I think it is true. And I think, yeah, the biggest thing where, and I was saying this to you earlier, that, you know, I'm working with a company right now who are a small business. They are starting up.
Yeah.
It is a family business. And like that, they want to make their first hire.
yeah,
And when they picked up the phone to me, I was like, whoa, they are so far away from needing a recruiter than where they need to be right now. They
Yeah.
need guidance. They need someone to sit down and go, right, let's just put all our cards on the table. What do you want out of the business in the next few months? When is the right time to hire? And then when the right time is, come to us as an agency and let us work with you. So
Yeah.
right now I'm working with them as more of a business piece than an actual recruitment piece.
Very good.
Because I see the long-term value of that. But yeah, I think that when it does come to business owners, we all get excited about hiring. And if I take like my family business, for example, that my parents own, like when they were hiring, when they still hire, like Jesus, they'd bring them up to the house for breakfast.
Yeah, you're so excited.
Do you know what I mean?
Expectations are high.
More the
you know.
merrier.
This
It's
is going to
really
make things so
exciting.
much better.
And it can be such a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. Because I know obviously when you guys are talking about yourselves as well from that perspective of your first hires. I can imagine you've taken a risk, you've got the business going, you've tolerated each other, and you're like, okay, now we need someone else to come in and
We
tolerate
need a
this.
buffer.
Yeah, so it must have been like, what do we do next?
Yeah.
And where do we go to figure out how to do it?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it comes down to cost. But what I always say is the cost of getting it wrong versus using an agency. You have to weigh it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think there's that massive piece that when you are starting off, or like some people mightn't recruit for the first couple of years. And there's nothing to say that means they're not successful. It means it just is not the right time for them. And I just think even then they might be in a business maybe 3-4 years and think
well,
now
we
is
were
our
4
time.
years in before we hired
Yeah.
somebody.
Exactly.
We were, yeah.
The first guy we hired knocked on our door trying to sell us office supplies.
We gave him a job.
You stole them. In you come.
We said, come on in, sit down, tell us about it. Right, so he done an all right job.
He
And
did.
we were like, tell you what we do office supplies.
But did he not? Did he last? Is he still here?
No, but we're still in touch with him. He's a good
He was
guy.
a good guy.
Yeah.
But would you not question that and go, Jesus, how did he not know what company we were? How did he not
He was
research?
just knocking on doors.
Yeah. We were small.
Yeah,
We were,
at the time
we
we were in an office that was
unbranded.
one room.
Oh,
one
it was
room.
unbranded.
And it was
Just
a shared
one room,
building.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We just, I think I was outside having a cigarette at the time. we saw it.
That's right.
And he just
we do
rocked
not
up.
encourage smoking.
Smoking. No. Since quit. Since
Oh,
quit.
very proud.
This is
Yeah.
not the Joe Rogan show.
We
But
won't
I
be
think they
sparking
do,
up any fat
they
joints
do
anytime
encourage
soon.
smoking.
Is that not tequila that's coming out? Look at it.
In part of my studies for being a good podcaster, I was watching Tyson there, right? Mike Tyson has a great podcast now,
I was
right?
going to say Tyson Fury.
But he is mashed the whole time.
Oh, he's mashed. He's off his face.
And he has to have people there just to bring the show along, because he just sits there like
Zonked.
jump
But
Yeah.
does that not just sound like absolute dream? lads?
torture.
Getting paid to sit there podcast drunk. That's my dream. Sign me
It's
up.
a dream, but stoned, trying to focus on
Okay,
what they're
maybe not
doing.
Stoned. I'd hate
So
that.
that's where you get the best of him, though.
I'd
he's
say
so
when
relaxed
He's
and he's-
so chilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like we were talking earlier about that.
Right,
Like,
pause. I'm gonna lighten up.
yeah. Is that what you have?
You've convinced me.
That's it.
I was just making sure you were okay with
oh,
it.
lads, and listen, from the country, take it out. But
Oh,
no, that sounds
Jesus.
really bad.
Jesus Christ.
We're going to get nowhere with this podcast.
Take 19. Go.
Okay, back, because if Stephen talks about it, then I'll be more controlled.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So Emma, tell us a little bit about you,
Okay.
right? And how did you get into recruitment?
Oh, I love talking about me. So I actually...
Can we keep this under an hour?
What part of the
Really?
country are you from?
An hour of just talking about me. I'm from the County Galway, the west of Ireland. West is best, and I stand by that.
That's what they say.
That's what they all say. Home
Don't know
run.
who they are, but
I decided to go and do my education in psychology. I love people. I come from a family business. My dad's family business has been around for 65 years. My mum also owns hair salons. So I've come from an entrepreneurial mindset. The drive, working 7 days a week, discussing business at the breakfast table. That was always the mindset I grew up. I grew up on the hip of my father in a store selling mattresses. So
Deadly.
when I decided to go into psychology, everyone's like, really? That's strange. Like, why are you going to do that? But I decided from more of a family perspective from my granny. She saw a counsellor all her life. She suffered really bad mental health, and I saw the impact it had on her, the help, and I thought, I want to do that. I want to make a change. So went down the route, done the degree, done the master's, then decided I wanted to go and do my doctorate in forensic psychology. So I hopped on a plane to London, where the best course is, and decided I'm going to do that. So I needed to get a job. And I thought, I like organising. I can be someone's executive assistant. Hopefully he will never listen to this podcast, because I bluffed my way in, guys, saying that I'd never used Outlook in my life. And I was like... He was like, do you know how to use Outlook? I was like, of course I do. I had references from my dad's friends.
You probably applied for a job in Highgate, because that's the sort of CVs we
sounds
got.
exactly
Yeah.
like the candidates we
So
got.
I, oh God, maybe there's my candidates I'm sending over. So I went and done that, and I actually joined a recruitment agency.
Right.
So they were
In the UK.
in the UK,
Right.
IT and tech recruitment agency. When I joined them, there was 48 of us, and by the time I left, nearly 2 years later, we'd grown to 135.
Jesus.
So I was the executive assistant to the CEO, he was primarily set up on executive search. So I went on his journey with him. So love that. And then from there, I was doing my course, and I was doing my hours that you have to do. And I just was going, God, am I getting the same thrill out of psychology as I am the business world? Really confused.
Yeah.
And I thought the hardest conversation I'm going to have is ringing my parents and going, listen, cheers for all the education money, but I'm going down a different path. And they were fully on board. Dad was like, listen, whatever makes you happy, go for it. And Mum was like,
He's right.
just do it.
Yeah.
Is
Like-
it fair to say, though, all that psychology stuff that you would have done, that stands to you then?
Oh
Now
my
your
God.
life skills are completely different.
100%. My outlook in life is
Yeah.
different. How I recruit is different. How I deal with people is different.
Yeah.
It's not saying I'm better or it's the right way. It's just saying that I know that one set of skills is not going to work for everyone. So I stayed over in London for 5.5 years, and I was like, right, what's next? Like, am I going to meet this wealthy banker they all say is over here and have the big penthouse? No.
Let's be honest, you met him and it didn't work out.
Yeah, no, I left. I am way too opinionated for that. Like, could you imagine? They'd be like, will you get out and leave me alone? So I decided I was going to come back to Ireland. And throughout my whole career, from both a hiring perspective and from a candidate perspective, I dealt with one agency in London, and I adored them. I loved what they're about. They got me.
Yeah.
They listened to me. They bring me with the right roles,
Yeah.
even from day dot of meeting with them. So I
Did
thought,
that surprise you?
not over there, no, it didn't, because they operate really differently over there. And I think that's what made me, when I came back to Ireland, I was like, I dealt with recruiting the Irish market, and I'm not saying everyone's like this. It's not me sitting here ballyragging everyone else. It's me saying that people are just different. And I actually sent my CV into a couple of people, and the people group picked up the phone to me and were like, you applied for a role with us. It's a business development manager role. It's with our client, who is still our client. And we got talking, and then Colin, the MD, actually rang me, and he was like, have you ever thought about recruitment? And we got talking about recruitment and how I wanted to come back to Ireland and make a change. So long story short, he offered me a job after 2 interviews, and I moved home for the people group.
Is
And I
this
done
how
it.
recruiters recruit recruiters? You apply for a
fast.
He was
job.
dying to
Say
say
that
that.
fast.
Is this how
5
recruiters
times.
recruit recruiters? Shoot. Now,
5 times.
now I'm glad I didn't do it, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I know. You might have come out better, actually. I would say yes.
Right.
I would say that, do I look at every person that comes into our agency as a CV and go, can they work for me? Of course I do. I'll be honest. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't I not? Like,
Yeah.
it'd be like me working in a sweet shop and never eating the sweets.
So are you looking for salespeople? Do salespeople make the best recruiters?
Not
What
necessarily.
characteristics would make a good, successful candidate in the people group? Like
Resilience.
resilience.
Absolute resilience.
How do you spot resilience in a candidate?
I think it's...
At a glance.
honestly, I don't interview in a competency-based way. My skill, mine is normal life stuff. So my question is always, oh, if I talk to your friends, what would they say you are in the group of mates? How would they describe you?
Right.
Or the question, if you were to be a fruit, what would you be?
Jesus. What a question.
Definitely a cucumber. It's obvious, isn't it?
Oh.
Does everyone not say that?
No, weird. They don't. No. So yeah, no, it's true. Like, yeah, when you are in recruitment, you have a great pick of what comes in that door. I won't lie. But that is how I was hired in there. It was genuinely.
What fruit would you be?
I couldn't tell you.
You have to be able to answer the question that you're asking.
No, I don't. Doesn't mean I have to have the answer to it. I just expect you to because you're doing the interview.
Yeah, she has the job.
Yeah, I'm hiring you.
Just not be supporting her. It's the redhead coming out now.
Do you want to take this outside?
What fruit would you be?
An apple, probably.
Probably an apple.
Yeah, I thought so.
I'd say
Why would you say an apple?
prickly pear.
Because apples are hard on the outside, but sometimes if someone's allergic to them, they can give them a tingle on the lips, so it can be a bit of a stab.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Has a hard.
What colour though? Green or red?
Oh, I'd see down as a green, a Granny Smith.
Granny Smith, I like it.
Yeah, Granny Smith. Am I right?
Don't know.
Oh,
Never
listen,
given it much thought.
let me take out my Mystic Meg psychic, shaking about. So yeah, no, that's how I I actually left London to move back for the company I'm in now, and I don't regret it.
How long ago was that?
2017, so 4.5 years ago.
Right, and that's a long time in the recruitment world.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a long time in the recruitment world. And it's a long time to stay in one agency.
Right.
That is one thing I'll say. We talked about this earlier.
It says a lot about the agency, really, doesn't it?
It does. And
Yeah.
I think for me growing back, like I came back here going, oh, I'm going to be the next president of Ireland and don't know any Irish, but I learn it. Like that's my driven mindset.
Right, yeah.
And when I was coming back here, my one thing was with Colin and the people group was that I don't want to do it how the rest of them are doing it because I've had a horrible experience.
Did you have to change things in there for that to happen, or was Colin already on
No,
those
like
lines?
to be fair, he's already beyond that mentality that we are, you know, he will kind of compare us to like an accountant and stuff, that professional consultative service, which I know sounds ridiculous in recruitment.
Sounds a
sometimes.
bit square.
Yeah, it is, yeah. But for me, it was to come back and just like eliminate all this intensity around hiring and like, and I was saying this to Paddy earlier, like when I'd say to someone, will you jump on a video chat or come in and meet me? They're like, oh, how do I prepare? What do I wear? I'm like, relax, lads.
Yeah.
Like, think of me as your agent. Like, you're LeBron James. I'm your agent. I'm going out into the market.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, if someone's, I suppose, if somebody's going in there and they're all kind of prepped, they're all dressed up, ready to go, you're not seeing the true them.
I
You're
can't
not
see the
really,
true them.
you know, there's a shield up. There's like, you're not,
That's it.
and then you can't see if the.
bullshit.
No.
You want to see who the real person is to make sure
Of
they're a right
course.
fit
Yeah.
for certain roles. Yeah.
Because like I would work with and I was saying this actually, like I say to a lot of people, I work with a certain amount of clients on a repeat piece. So it's the account management piece that I'm always working with. They may not be hiring at that time, but if someone walks into our agency or comes on a Zoom with me, straight away, by the way they walk, they talk, they look, they act, I'm like, you're perfect. I know where they're going to go, but I can't get that if they're, you know, being all fake and like, like they're like, oh, I sat and read all these competency answers and questions. I know how to answer everything. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, just like, come on.
Yeah,
Be yourself.
I know a lot of people working in government bodies, and
Yeah.
the interview process is all this competency-based
It's
stuff. So it's like doing
6,
the leaving
7
cert.
rounds.
You're
It's
learning
ridiculous.
stuff, and you're in there regurgitating it. And to me, it's just
Yeah.
so, like, from the outside, it's so unnatural. It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense that you're going to get
No.
a really good job based on this
Based
memory.
on a scoring thing.
Mad.
And I said this actually to my my boyfriend last night. We were talking about obviously the podcast today, and you know I hire for him.
You were telling them how excited you were.
Yeah, I was saying to him, I can't go and meet the boys tomorrow. But I hire for his company. Now obviously people don't know.
Do you want to give
the
it a plug?
relationship. Absolutely not, because I'll be killed.
Okay.
But I appreciate that. I mean, he'd be devastated going, why should I not plug us? But if I did, then all his team would go, oh my God, they're dating? So they don't know when I
Do you
hire.
date many of your clients?
It's so funny people say that. No, I don't. We met before he became a client. But we were talking about interviews and I was saying to him, like, he was like, yeah, we use competency based and a scoring. I was like, excuse me? Now I know every person in HR is going to go, she better not come after us for that. But I don't think as a hiring manager, and this is my advice to anyone in a new business who is interviewing, do not go on and get a competency based questions and start scoring. You are the hiring manager. You more than anyone will know when someone walks into that desk, meet you for that coffee, they're perfect for your job. Do not start scoring them.
Okay.
Right.
So as a small business owner then on that point,
Yeah.
right, we have the experience of people walking in, we
Yeah.
both say they're perfect for the job.
Perfect.
Right? And
Did you see the lady who walked?
3 days later, right,
Like, Very
like, for an
confident.
example, right, we hired a guy, and we came back into the office. We went for lunch, 3 days later we came back, and the whole office had been rearranged.
Furniture, kitchen,
canteen,
kettle. Where's the coffee, lads?
He rearranged it.
He came in and rearranged the whole
Okay,
place.
so a bit of initiative, right?
You see the initiative, right? Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
But is that because that's like, whoa, that's not the iGate way?
No, we just thought it was a bit crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
Who walks into an office and starts rearranging everything?
Did he have a reason as to why he did
No,
it?
he was, and then he stared out the window with this crazy stare and go, "Why did you do that?" And he goes, "Because I wanted to."
The same guy had 3 kids that he didn't have.
Yeah.
And had a car that he didn't have.
Okay.
And
So
it was just
Yeah,
one.
Stephen,
Okay.
even I'm going right.
We found all this out post hiring.
But you know what though, because
Time to go.
like it sounds really bad, and it's not a negative, piece on you guys. It's nothing to do with that, because I think as everyone learns and companies grow, you guys are going to learn how to get better at interviews and from those mistakes.
Yeah, I mean,
but do you look back and go, "Oh God, how we should have asked more," or was it a line of going, "I can't actually ask those questions because legally I'm not allowed"?
well, first and foremost,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have known what we could legally and not illegally ask, right?
Okay.
But I think we were always kind of just open guys. We were very trustworthy.
Yeah.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And we expected that in return, like when we're having an honest conversation, that we were getting honest answers back. But
So
we
the trust.
found over every hire and disappointment that people were just full of shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fair assessment. People couldn't do their jobs.
Yeah.
We had one person who hired in credit control, remember? And she was short of threatening with the van.
She was like vigilante.
There's lads going to come around if you don't pay your bills and we're going to break your legs, basically, kind of mentality. And we're like, whoa, you can't talk to customers like that.
Yeah, but I think every company
But they
will have
changed
those
the minute
stories.
they got the job.
Of course they do.
Whoa.
You can't, and like I always say this as well, like people hire amazing and they come in that door and you go, "What have I just hired?" And
Yep,
I still
many
get
times,
that fear
many
for when I
times.
hire.
Yeah.
I go, "Oh my God, have I made the right decision?"
But I think the big problem for us is how we came to the conclusion that this was the right candidate. We basically allowed, what we saw without really delving in. And whereas now it's a different process.
We were
for us.
fishing in the wrong pond to begin
Definitely,
with.
yeah. Definitely in the wrong
But
pond.
you have to do that in order to learn and grow, though, right?
Yeah.
Every business owner has to do that, and I think if I go back to that family that I'm working with, because that's what I'm calling them, a family that are entrepreneurial, have set up this business, and that's the thing. Like, they've say to me about like growing the business. They'd be like, "Okay, what about interviews and stuff?" And I'm like, "I'll come and sit in an interview with you." They're like, "Will you?" I'm like, "Guys, would you not want a specialist? Like, all I do all day, every day is interview people. Okay, it's in a very different capacity, because I can ask as a recruiter what I want to ask. I know from a legal perspective, you guys have to be careful.
Yeah.
But I do think over time, you get better at hiring. You get better at judging.
That's for sure, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think there's any, right or wrong way for us to say, "Oh, well, you have to do it this way and you have to do it that way." I think you as a hiring manager and you as a business owner, it has to feel right, because right then at that time it felt right for you guys to do it that
Sure
way.
did.
But now you're going, "God, no way." Like
Never
we're
again.
Yeah, we're growing, we're expanding, we're learning, so now we know how to do it differently.
Yeah.
And I think it always comes down to, because I think people only pick up the phone to recruiters when they go, "Oh, I have to pick up the phone to that recruiter because now I'm looking for someone." No, you don't. Pick up the phone to us and go, "Look, this is where I'm at in our stage of business. This is what's going on. What can I do? Have you any advice? What should I be doing?" 100%.
That's good to hear. But I don't think people think of recruiters in
they
that
don't.
way.
No.
Similar to, I suppose, we had Owen here in the last episode.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably didn't think of an accountant as the business
No.
advisor, and
No.
recruitment. You obviously have a lot of experience in that
Of
regard.
course we
You
do,
can advise a
yeah.
business. You've seen it all before.
Yeah, we've been there. And like for us, it's about, like I would say to a company, "Give me your org chart. Where are the gaps coming down the market?" Like I work with a great client of mine who are a food company, and I will say to him, I've had an amazing person that comes in. He's like, "Send me a CV." Because he knows I'm part of his journey. And I always say to people, "Okay, I will hire for iGate. I don't have an iGate email, but that does not mean I'm not part of your team and your culture, because I'm out there on the market as your representation. So you want to make sure I'm respectful and doing it right. But also, like, I want to make sure that you guys know I have your backs.
Yeah.
I'm out there telling your story. I'm telling it in the best possible way." So I think my advice always is to someone who's looking to start recruitment, who maybe is recruiting already and needs to make another big hire, pick up the phone and talk to a specialist agency.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you have to be like, "Oh yeah, we're 100% on board." You're getting advice. So
Yeah.
what's the right way to go about it? Is it the right time? Am I paying the right salary? Am I interviewing properly?
Yeah.
Like, have a conversation. And I think that's what it comes down to, is we don't have conversations. We're like, "Oh, is there a robot I can email?" So I think that's definitely something that I think is really good to do.
Right.
100%.
Right, Emma, what are the biggest mistakes businesses make when hiring? And I suppose we're talking about small businesses as opposed to larger corporates.
I even think the larger corporates still make
before
mistakes.
Before we get to that, what percentage of your recruitment is small business versus corporates?
So for us, my area that we love and we specialise in is tier 2s. So they are
What's a tier 2?
An SME.
Right.
So tier 1s are your big multinationals. So like you guys would be a tier 2 for us.
What is that, 10 to 50 staff or what's...
Yeah. I mean, look, we will hire. Now, don't get me wrong. We do hire for the big 4, the big multinationals. I won't lie. We do an awful lot of that.
Yeah.
Right.
But
is that where the money is? You need to do a bit of that to keep the rest of it going, or?
No, not really. I think you do it because we are a sales and marketing specialist and senior management.
Yeah.
I don't want to just specialize in a certain industry.
Paddy didn't know that. He's just gone, what?
What'd you do? Huh?
What are we talking about?
What is this podcast for?
I was just thinking about what I'm going to do for dinner later.
I know well you were.
Sales and marketing specialist, but...
Yes, but so I don't want to be industry specialist. So I don't want to just go, well, we just specialise in B2B this, or, we just specialise in FMCG. So SMEs for us are what I call golden nuggets.
Your target customer.
100%, because you guys will sit, work and listen to us.
Yeah.
You will actually go, hold on, I value a specialist. I actually going to pay money, so I want my money's worth. So I would say, definitely over 60% of our work is with the SMEs. And I love it.
Right.
I love when, and I was saying this to you upstairs, like, I love when the hiring manager who's a CEO gets involved and you're going, Jesus, this is great. Like, because he's going to listen to me. He's going to trust me.
Yeah.
He's going to have a conversation with me. Whereas if I compare myself to the work we do with the big multinationals, the big 4 and stuff, I'm going through portals and hiring managers. I don't get near the hiring manager because
it's less personal as well. It's nearly just transactional, nearly, is it?
Well, yeah, and I think if you guys were to take it, so say you had a HR person who rings me and goes, "Hey Emma, we're looking for someone. This is the brief I've got from Paddy and Stephen." Okay, great, yeah. Can I talk to them? No, they're too busy. You need to talk to me. Okay, fine. We take the brief, we go through it. I'm asking questions. They're going, "Oh, actually, I need to go back and ask. I don't know that."
Yeah.
Or hold on 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I start the process, get CVs going. They come back and go, "No, nothing, not what they're looking for." And I'm like, of course they're not, because I don't know their personalities.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're looking for. Stop giving me a job spec, because I don't care about job spec. It's off the paper stuff. So I think that's like the biggest thing with us when it comes to SMEs is, if we go back to the mistakes that they make, honestly, I think the biggest mistake is that they take too long to hire, because they always think the grass green on the other side.
Really?
Now the reverse of that is you can hire too quick. You can make an offer too quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
We know this.
So yeah,
We've done this.
So I think there is 2 sides to that. It's about that balance piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I always say it to anyone I'm working with: don't leave them a week. Don't make an offer there and then.
It's very hard to find that spot though, that
Of course it
the
is.
balance, because we have hired a bit prematurely, a bit hesitantly, just straight off, haven't we?
Yeah.
And it's never really worked out, to be honest.
No, and like the thing is, and I know I say, like, as I said to you there, I'm saying, oh, don't wait too long. Oh, don't go too quick.
Yeah.
It's counteracting each other. But I suppose, a little plug for an agency. Point of dealing with specialist agency is that we will help. We'll advise on that. So if you guys came to me and said we want to make an offer, I'd be like, give it a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Or like clients will go to me, they've just walked in. Oh, sorry, microphone hit. They've just walked in. I don't want to see the rest of them. I'm going to hire them. I'm like, absolutely not.
Oh, I've felt like that lots of times.
Yeah.
You're just like, whoa, that's the one.
Yeah.
Save me another 3 or 4 hours of this.
Yeah. No, you can't. You can't do that.
No.
You have to go through a process. Everyone has to go through a process.
Yeah.
So they are the biggest things. They're my biggest 2 profires when it comes to clients, is like, lads, relax. Or stop waiting a week because they're going to be gone.
How long do you have to give somebody to settle into a role?
Does it depend on the job spec?
We've
maybe, on
hired,
the
let's say
title?
we've hired people, right? Let's say, suppose sales is the hardest one, because you're waiting for them to hit numbers to pay for themselves.
I
right?
want the magic to happen straight away.
Yeah,
You're kind of
it
going,
doesn't, though.
Bring all your clients. Let me see the sales
So
spiking. As soon
if
as
you
get
think
into
about
it.
a rebate period that an agency will give you, it's 90 days. So 90 days we'll endeavour to find you a replacement. That's what you need to give someone. You need to give them 3 months. You have to take in the onboarding piece. So what's your onboarding look like? Like, how long is that going to take? But also, you're bringing in
2
someone
hours.
new. You're bringing in someone, though, to a company
that's
like...
not true, by the way.
What?
It's not fucking do it. Are you?
Well, an hour and a half,
We
isn't
can
it,
narrow
Paddy?
it down if we have to.
Paddy's like, listen, I've got 45 minutes here.
Yeah.
No, but if you think about, like, when it comes to giving someone a bit of time. Like, I think out of pure and utter respect to them, if I look at how we work as an agency, I don't expect them to hit a target in the first 4 weeks. However, I'm such a good manager, they do. Plug there for myself.
Boom.
I'm telling you. But no, but I don't. That's what he's going to do, isn't it? Take out all that.
That's
nice
coming
stuff.
out.
Clap. But no, I think you need to give them. You need to have a settling in period. I think you need to give someone 3 months, and that's why our 90-day replacement.
3 months is fair. Yeah.
I think it is. I think it's to get on board with what's going on. So, okay, if you guys weren't self-employed, you'd be working for another company. Okay. And you come to me and go, Emma, I want you to find me a job. Okay, great. You've been in your last company for 6 years. So you're changing jobs. You might be selling the same product or service, but you're changing environments. You're now at the bottom of the food chain, even if you are a senior person, and you have to build up your loyalty and your respect and all that again with that new employer. You need to let that allow time, guys. It's so important. So don't write someone off in the first month if they're not hitting sales or they're not doing it how you're doing it. Give them a chance. But
Paddy.
sit down with them.
Oh my God.
Did you notice I'm staring at Paddy when I was talking about this? Yeah. Just having a one-on-one here.
Let's both look at him. Yeah.
No, but you know what it is? You have to be sitting down with them and going, actually, okay, let's look at all the positive, but let's look at the stuff I want you to work on. Like, I don't think businesses, SMEs, do enough one-to-ones. I don't think they do enough sitting down and going, how's your day going? What's going on with you? And I think in this virtual onboarding world that we're living in, that's even harder.
Now, the fact that you said that, we actually do. I take time out to talk to the guys and ask them how they're getting on, how their day is.
But do you put it in the diary or do you just grab them?
No, it's literally I'm walking past the office. Oh, hiya. And then it's to sit down and go, tell me about your day, how are you getting on? But in the early stages, it does a lot of hand holding now. And it's something that I've learned over the years. I had such a high expectation at the start of hire somebody, the magic's going to happen. No. And then because my expectation at the start is so high, and then that person doesn't realize that that's my expectation, I start getting disappointed. But then over time I realized I'm being ridiculous. Like, that person needs plenty of time to settle in, find their feet, you know, not realize what they're doing, understand the business model. And that doesn't happen in 3 or 4 weeks, you know.
And it's not going to, but also remember, no one's ever going to love your business like
the way you do. No, they won't.
No one's ever going to get it. At the end of the day, it is their job. You want them to love their job and go, I'm really proud to work with this brand and I will go out there and shout, but I'm going to go home at 6 o'clock.
That's it.
And what happens after 6?
Don't call me.
I find that hurtful.
About your brand?
When people, it's 5 o'clock, I have to go.
I know.
Why, hang on.
I know.
Why is your phone off at 1 minute past 5?
We're building an empire here. What
exactly.
Yeah, Jesus.
But they don't, and that's the thing. And I think
you do have to get used to that.
You have to get used to that mentality that no one's ever, like, another plug for me here again. My boss is blessed with me because I actually treat the people group like it's my own. Because I love it.
What's the name of the company again?
The People Group.
Very good, go ahead.
Yeah. Did you want to add that?
No, that can stay in.
Thanks. But no, it's true. And I have had to, because growing up the way I did, I always say about my family business that we have been around 65 years. We've got 45 staff. Some of them have been there.
Do you want to give that business a plug?
Keller's Ballinasloe.
Keller's
Ballinasloe.
Lovely.
Keller _home.
What do Kellers do in Ballinasloe?
We are a furniture household store. So 25,000 square foot store.
Very good.
Everything online, everything. Scotty T from Geordie Shore started following the page yesterday.
Did he?
How random.
If I knew who Scotty T was, I'd probably be excited about that.
Really?
Don't know who he is.
You just broke my heart there.
I don't know who he is either.
But at least you played along with it.
Yeah, I mean, well done. I think we're number 9 podcast ranked in Ballinasloe, are we?
You'd be number 1 after I'm on this podcast.
Maybe he's doing one of those nightclub appearances down there.
Is he?
Well, I was thinking he's probably looking for a hashtag collab, but I ain't getting one from us. The cost is ending the
He's coming down to test the mattresses.
That's fine. My sister would be delighted.
Tell me about the People Group. What makes you guys unique? How's it work?
Our people. I know that's cheesy, right?
Jesus.
But it is our people, genuinely.
Okay, next question.
No, but if I'm to talk about our people, majority of what we have hired all have a career before the recruitment.
Right.
So they all have, whether it's retail, whether it was what I was doing, I was in property, marketing. My MD column ran...
It's a fantastic combination.
MBNA, thank you.
Yeah.
He ran MBNA Ireland, which is now Avant Money. So we all have come from the most random backgrounds. And I think what that allows us is that we've actually gone into recruitment as a career versus a stopgap. So for me, I can confidently go out to my clients and to the market and say, actually, guys, my people are really good at what they do. They will sit and talk to our candidates, they'll sit and talk to you. But also, I reverse train, which means that when you go into an agency, you're predominantly trained to pick up the phone, BD, call, get the work on. But there's no one filling the hopper. So I teach them to fill the hopper, then go get the business. Because you're confident. So I would say our biggest USP as an agency is our people. It is the fact that we match careers.
Are you managing a team of people?
I am. Fun. Okay. So I manage a team. So even though I'm a director, I'm what's known as a billing director. So that means that I have a target. Right. I don't absorb my target into my team. I actually have a full sales target. Then my team have a sales target, and then I have a resourcer. So they have a target. So I choose to do that. The reason why is because if my team come to me and go, the market's hard, I can go, yeah, it is. Because I'm doing it.
You're in it,
I'm not going to sit in a high chair and go, well, why is it hard? You're a recruiter, you should be able to do it.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important.
That makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of sales managers probably fall into the trap of losing touch with the market over time.
From the reality of it.
Yeah, because you're sitting there doing Excel
management things.
Of course,
important things.
Yeah.
But the reality is that the sales when you're out there is the hard part, and as a sales manager maybe it's easy to, or it's comfortable to maybe go, I'll let you guys do that, keep bringing in and I'm going to just do the spreadsheets here.
I think you're doing your team an injustice with that mentality as well. I think you should be tuned in, you should know what's going on as well.
You have to be, because if you're taken away from it, it's more of a, like, and I was actually saying this to Paddy upstairs, my resourcer I have, she's amazing, she's a young girl. She's creative. She does her marketing as well. She's someone I took from out of college, but she's worked. She's got a little retail background. She's a real cracker, and the world is her oyster at that level. They see things in different ways. And I'm a control freak, like absolute control freak. I don't deny that. But I think for me, it was really important that I needed to hire someone in her that filled in my gaps and my weaknesses, which was around the marketing, which is around having the time to talk to every single candidate that comes in. As an agency, we talk to at least, and I don't say this in a ad hoc throw it out there way, we talk to at least 99% of our candidates that come in that door. I'm not just talking to people who are just for a role. That doesn't bother me. I can find them. I want to talk to the ones who aren't for a role, the ones who are really good, and etc. But I think when it comes to, for us as a recruiter, I can go out and say that we are actually that agency that do talk to everyone that comes in.
Do you specialise in industries, or is it just...
No, just sales, marketing, senior management. And I love it. I love talking to a 25-year-old that's out of college, and I love talking to a C-suite. I love talking to a COO who wants to go next.
How do you find the generation coming out of college now?
Yeah,
no, but let's be honest about it, because like we're not dealing with them, but I can see it from a mile away that must be hard.
It must be hard, yeah.
It is, like...
But there's only so many beanbags you can buy.
There is. And I think, like, look, I think it's anything. Part of me admires them in a way, because they go, hold on, wait, I'm not doing that, I'm worth more. They have this...
But are they worth more? That's the problem.
But I think it's...
arrogant.
I think it's a confidence piece that they naturally have
that you can chip away at over time. You're not worth more.
I think they do, right? But I don't think they're resilient yet.
Is there much delusion going on?
Of course there is.
Yes, there is.
They leave for money. They don't look at career progression right now. But did we at that age?
No.
But life will get their hands on you and just
mold
you and give you some
perspective. I think that's what it is. I think they have to have a bit of hardship. God, I sound like I'm 70.
That's right, though.
But you came out of college, you thought you were going to get a top dog job.
100% to have it in my bio.
I worked every penny. And
I honestly did, and it was delusion, because I had a piece of paper. I had done. I know how to do finance. I know how to do sales and marketing. And when I go into a job, they're going to show me whatever I don't know.
But you were, but we were told that though, weren't we? We were told like, we go do your leaving cert, then you go to college, and that's it. You go out and you become a millionaire. Like, I think the resilience piece with the generation that are now coming out, and I do a lot of work with graduates, in order to try and get them ready and meet their expectations, because primarily more around the marketing side, I think that's a little bit harder for them. And I do think that, and I work with a lot of clients who will say to me, "Oh God, Emma, we've got loads of CVs in." Obviously, protocol for most people is go on a jobs board and see what comes in, and they'll go to me, "Oh Jesus, like they didn't even turn up to interview, didn't even ring me to say that they weren't going to come." And like, it's those things in life that are really frustrating, because you want to grab them and go, "Cop on, guys." Ireland is tiny. Everyone knows each other, and that will come back to bite you. So I think that generation definitely, look, I think there's some of them that are older that I want to shake them that still have the same mentality. But I do think that, you know what, and I actually say, as a recruiter, and advice to any other recruiter out there, it's up to us to tell them and actually guide them a little bit. Not just accept it and say it's okay. We have to go, actually, no, hold on a second. Let's be honest here. This is your career. Let's try and figure this out together. So I think as an agencies, we have to also hold our hand up and go, well,
you have a responsibility maybe just to educate them a little bit.
I think we do. And actually go, that's not respectful. That's not going to work. And if you're going to be like that now, go travelling and come back in 12 months.
Okay.
I really think it's important.
Can I ask you what's your view of LinkedIn in this day and age? Currently LinkedIn, how do you feel about it and how useful is it?
LinkedIn, please don't remove my license. I really need you. No, honestly, LinkedIn is
as a platform now, not as a company.
I think as in everything.
Just in general, like, because my personal feelings have changed on it recently.
Ooh.
Yeah, me too.
I've just
LinkedIn is a great virtual networking tool, and I think with the pandemic that created more of a demand for LinkedIn.
Right.
As an agency, it is part of a system for us. It's part of a recruitment system. It's like anything. I'm not just going to go advertise my brand in one place. I'm going to use loads of channels, and I think that's the same when it comes to it. Would I say to someone, go and spend all your money on a jobs board on LinkedIn? No. And I fully say that with the aspect of maybe losing my license, but I have said this to my account manager. We have 2 job slots on LinkedIn. As an agency, that's all we have, but that's more of a marketing piece than an application piece. I think LinkedIn are trying to be Facebook. Meta. Yeah, I do. And I know I can say that, and I feel bad sitting here going, okay, that's my opinion on it, it's not everyone's, but I suppose it's something that I use every day.
So are LinkedIn promoting, maybe they're happy for that to happen, do you think?
I think being a social platform, yeah, because I think that their piece is to create a business network and to allow people to be comfortable to share in any capacity that they want. But if I see another poll,
have you seen the posts? A lot of posts lately where the people are putting stuff up, maybe not directly related to themselves, where it's something to grab you emotionally. It's
and you see 35,000 likes and 20,000 comments. You're like
stuff like
what's going on there?
But and that's the thing. So, but then the flip side of that is, like, if you look at the CEO of Spanx, she just sold her business, and she has documented that on LinkedIn. For a person who's really driven in life, I love seeing that.
But that's completely relevant to LinkedIn. Yeah,
exactly. Whereas the other stuff is not. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And because that's what it is. It's a business platform.
Yeah, for business people.
But I think that they're allowing it to be too much of a social, personal platform.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I just said business people there. I should correct myself on that. It's more just for career-driven people. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I want to see how somebody's cat got stuck up a tree and needed to be rescued,
I'm going to go on TikTok.
Or go Facebook, whatever.
Yeah.
I want to read about, the latest development in some person's career or business or acquisition and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what LinkedIn's about, in my opinion.
It is. It's
getting so diluted now.
It's about but they've actually removed their stories from it as well. So on your phone, you'd always have the stories.
Is that recent?
I noticed it's gone.
Is that recent?
Yeah, because that's not what you go on there for.
Yeah.
I don't want to go on. My downtime for me is really important in the job that I do, because I spend all day getting paid to talk.
Yeah.
That's very exciting, guys.
You don't seem exhausted.
Yes, anyway.
The lads like, we spend 3 hours in here. And the thing is, I want to disconnect from the world. I want to go onto Instagram, I want to go on TikTok, and I want to see cats up trees. But I don't want to be on LinkedIn looking at sad things. I don't want that.
Yeah.
It's not my mindset in that day. I want to be able to disconnect from the world. And I'll be honest with you, when I do go home, I don't go on LinkedIn. I just won't do it. I'll have notifications and stuff, obviously, with what I do, but I won't do it.
Good.
I'm finding a lot of similarities at the minute between the likes of Facebook. Obviously, Facebook Business, Marketplace, sponsored ads. And when you look at LinkedIn and you look at what's going on there at the minute and how it's becoming more diluted and looking like Facebook, they're nearly similar now.
Of course they are.
At one stage, I'm like, what am I on here? Is this Facebook, LinkedIn? And that's because the content is quite similar.
Yeah.
So, and there's no differentiation really.
But when you guys first started with the business and stuff, what did you use as important platforms? I suppose not even from using it from an advertising perspective, marketing perspective, and for jobs.
Facebook went when did that kick off? 2005, was it?
Just out of nappies.
Really. Nothing at that level was really advanced at that stage. You know what I mean? 2009 we kicked off. We didn't really have platforms to promote on at that stage. Bebo. Oh, Bebo.
The OG days. Oh my God. I was in college when Bebo started.
Yeah.
Bebo, yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to log in last week to get a few pictures and
get the photos.
I don't even know what I would have had. I would love to.
Stupid stuff.
But I think there is many more platforms and social pieces that companies can use nowadays that it is trying to determine what is right and what's wrong. But it has to come down to what's right for my brand. Where am I looking for someone? Yeah. But I think that if you were to do it, if I'm honest with you, I definitely think that, but a question like that, pick up the phone to an agency and go, listen, more of a specialist agency than a high street one, go, listen, I don't have the money right now. What should I do? Let us advise you guys, because that to me is a conversation I can't make money off, but I could build a long-term relationship with them down the line.
I think small business owners would be afraid or unaware that they can do that.
Yeah,
no, they think it's just a transaction.
Yeah.
Terrified of getting a bill, right?
Isn't it?
Yeah, terrified.
Of course it is.
And to anybody that I've spoken to over the years, coming up when the business is small, it's always, don't go near recruitment. You know, you're going to get hit with a big bill.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, they don't know who to hire next. They don't know the next move.
And they're not measuring the time and the waste.
No, of course,
they're not seeing the value in it.
Yeah, and it is the cost of a bad hire, right? I mean, my boss talks about this all the time.
In some instances, like we said it before, like sometimes they think you can't afford to hire, but then you can't afford not to hire.
Yeah.
And if you don't have all the information in front of you, you know, how are you going to make a proper decision?
But I also think the other side of that is, don't get into business if you're not willing to take that risk. Stay working for someone else.
It's all about risk,
And that is unfortunately the life that we live.
Yeah.
Like if you want to go be an entrepreneur and self-employed, you're taking that risk from the second you leave that job.
Yeah, but to make that point then, like, so the risk is there, but you can mitigate that risk by getting as educated as possible. So again, likes of Owen, as an accountant, been able to advise. He just doesn't do your books, but he can be your business advisor as well.
Absolutely.
HR, recruitment, you can advise, consult. And the more information you have, the less, the more the risk is reduced in your decision. Yeah.
Is it right that I'm confused between HR and recruitment in some regard?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I shouldn't have said the two.
Yeah, it's all right.
No,
if I could have kicked him under the table, I would have. I can't read.
Give us the line there. What's the difference?
Recruitment is part of HR. Is part of their function. It is not their sole function. Their sole function is to be the point of contact for employees. So if I was to look at Ryanair have a bunch of HR. Jeez, I'm not promoting Ryanair. God forgive me. HR generalists. They've got HR business partners, etc. Their job is that you would be the HR person for 2,000 people in Ryanair. So if it's anything to do with grievances, if they're put on PIPs, if they're being hired, if they're getting an internal promotion, there's policies that have to go out. That is what HR do. Yeah. They have a whole people function. Recruitment is a part of it, and it's a part that some of them love, but some of them hate. But when it comes to recruitment, all we do is find people jobs. All we do is career matchmake. Me as a recruiter, I'm taking someone's career and excelling it. For you as a client, I'm helping you grow your business by adding the right people.
So do you recruit for HR people as well?
Yes,
then?
I do. Yeah, okay. And I love it.
Yeah.
Funny, I actually love it.
And when you talk, go on. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, because they're easy. They're really easy to deal with, HR people, for hiring for them, not as them working for them.
Yeah.
You say career matchmake. Kind of what's your success rate in terms of being able to find the right fit?
As an agency, probably we're about 90%.
Wow.
I stand by that, and anyone else can listen to this and go, she's talking crap. No, I don't. I stand by it, because look, there is times I'll get it wrong, and I think, you know, I've recruited.
What do you think the industry average is then, if that's a high figure?
I would say probably about 70-75%.
Right.
I think we all make mistakes, and I was even having this, that she was talking to my boyfriend about the podcast last night, and as I said to you, I've hired for him and one didn't work out after a month. That was just
separate beds that night.
Oh jeez, we didn't talk for about a month. It was lovely. No, but do you know what it was? It was, at the time, the role was right for the person, but the person's outlook on life changed, and their career aspirations and what they want to change. And that's
dealing with the human element.
That is a human nature that you can never see. But these things happen. But I think from the perspective of, like, people not working out, I've had one this year. We won't talk who that's about. I've had one and I hate it.
You only had one this year?
Yeah. I'm sitting in their office.
The one that didn't work out for us is the only one you had this year.
Are you serious?
Seriously, and it devastated me.
No way.
I take it really personal.
You serious?
Isn't that really silly?
No, I could sense that that you did, right?
I did, yeah.
But I also thought this is just part of your job.
No, I took it really personal. I really did. I had one this year and one last year.
We're going into November. One.
Yeah, one this year and one last year.
One's a great record.
It is, and do you know what?
Fantastic.
It is a great record, and I can sit here all day and, you know, obviously not promote myself too strong, but I do really believe that, given my background, where I've come from, how I've been brought up, how I've grown, and I joined an agency that was very in line with my values, because that's important. I had to join an agency that was in line with my values. So for me to have that record, and like when you rang me that day, I genuinely was devastated, Stephen. I hung up that phone. I was like, how did I get it wrong? What did I do?
This is a perfectionist in you.
It is. Yeah, but it's also as well, like, if I was a surgeon and you were saying I need heart surgery, you're going, I'm putting all my trust in this girl, and I have a level of respect, right? Going, she's a doctor, she's a surgeon, this is amazing. I'm a recruiter. People are like, you're a recruiter. I'm taking someone from a financially stable environment in a job that pays their mortgage, gives them a lifestyle, keeps a roof over their head, minds their kids, minds their parents, whatever their money is used towards. And I'm saying, come here, I've got a great job for you. Let's go. Oh, this is the best job for you in the world. Don't you worry, you're going to love it. And it doesn't work out. And they are let go or they leave. Then what have they got? So that's what I'm saying. Like, it is actually a big responsibility.
Very serious, and when you put it like
it's
that.
massive. That's why it's a tough decision when you have to, as an employer,
to let someone go. 100%.
Because it has such a massive impact on that
exactly,
person.
100%. And it's that outcome that, like, I know someone go, oh, you're just an agency, you get the fee. No, I'm not. I'm actually a human who's going, how did I get that wrong? How did I not get what you guys wanted? How did I not get what they wanted? How did I misalign it so much that a good recruiter will take it personally?
I have to be honest, I think as an employer, over the years, that has changed me in my mindset. I've gotten a lot softer. I've been more considerate for that person. At the end of the day, they've a life.
I know.
This is just a job. And it's really trying to see, can we find a...
If it's not what are you winking for?
Pretend.
No, like, I'm fucking serious here.
I think he's gone...
Did you get him a fucking tablet or something before this?
I think it might be...
No, but I honestly got, like...
No, I'm only messing. I've seen that change.
I'm taking their position into consideration.
But do you think, though, that's because you've grown and you've a family and things have changed?
Well, absolutely.
He had a family when he was 16 or something.
You know what I mean? I'm a veteran, 4 stars. But what I've learned to do is lower my expectation.
Yeah.
And give them a chance. You know what I mean? And if things aren't working, work with them to figure out why it's not working and try and help them to make it work.
You have to.
And exhaust every avenue before you have to go down that road, because it's not a nice road to
It's
go.
horrible.
We've both lost lots of sleep trying to figure out, can we make this work?
It's horrible,
what have we done wrong that we can't, right, tell you what, we go in tomorrow and we'll show them that again. Or we'll try a different approach and it has to work. And then it doesn't.
It's true, completely true. And I think my boss, Colm, he is... Like, he's the exact same. He said to me, no matter, like, he's owned the people group. He's been working as a recruiter for 17 years. He's owned it for over nearly 15 years. And he says to me, it never gets easy.
No, it doesn't.
It never, ever, ever gets easy. No. And you know what? I think that is the one thing he's really taught me, how to manage that process. And I think then when a client rings me and says that hasn't worked out, it's like I'm involved in that and I'm going, oh.
But it's a reality we all have to deal with as an employer.
It's life.
Not everybody's going to be a perfect fit, but... Yeah.
But they might not be a perfect fit now, but that doesn't say down the future they might not be. Do you know what I mean? It's just timing that we're all in, and it's matching that timing. And I think with an agency, when it comes to anyone who's hiring or looking to hire and grow their business, like, have those honest conversations with the recruitment agency. And if they're not giving you anything, pick up the phone to the next one. It is genuinely that simple. Like, I think that's what it's about. Like, I hate when a client says to me, what's your fees? Before I even know what they're looking for.
That was the first question I wanted to ask you.
I know.
The first time I
would
talked to you.
Been like, boy.
That's all I wanted to know.
I know.
All right. And at the same time, if I'm ringing a client prospecting and they ask me the price of what we're selling, I won't have that conversation with them.
It's mad, isn't it?
So hang on, listen, we'll talk about that after I show you what our service is about, because that's not important.
Absolutely.
Until you know what else is going on.
It's crazy. And if someone says to me, I'm going to hold on a second, like, my fees can be anywhere from X to Y. Yeah. But I don't know what you're looking for. Exactly, I have no idea.
You can't measure that. No,
you can't. So, and I think that is the fear of using an agency, is that big fee. But like, if you think an average probably fee for an agency, we'll say it would be about 5,000 to 10,000. I'm throwing out something there, guys. It just really depends. Like, if you are someone looking to hire,
we just lost 16 listeners.
We're now on -1. But like,
unsubscribe.
But if you are an agent, if you're a company who's going, actually, that's a lot of money. Like, that's my salary for nearly 2 months. Yeah. But also, I would say to them, in that sense, is that, like, actually, but hold on, pick up that phone and go, okay, guys, this is what I'm looking for. Like, go talking through the conversation, this blah blah blah, whatever. We then will agree on fees. But what I would say to them is that, how long are you going to be waiting for a jobs board to give you those 10 CVs? And my job, the other thing is, if I send you 3 CVs, you need to see all three. This is not a pick and mix.
Pick and mix, pick one and go.
Yeah, like, I just don't know this thing when someone goes to me, no, I'm not going to see them. No, you are, because that's what you're paying me for. This is a lovely coffee.
Thanks.
Genuinely, you're missing out there, Paddy.
No,
that's a Nespresso from the Nespresso machine.
Well done. This podcast is brought to you by Nespresso.
And there's a special offer on iGate at the moment. Nespresso 30% off.
Is
there?
You
sell Nespresso?
Yeah.
No
we sell everything.
Well, so we sell pods that fit into
I could walk out
machine.
of this pod room and maybe might fall into your areas and steal stuff.
Oh.
Look, watch my bag on the way out of here, guys. actually really good. I didn't realise that now.
Neither did I. This is good. Okay, keep going.
Oh,
milk frothers.
I didn't done it either. There's another product on the list for the P&L.
What else are we doing? Tell me.
Yeah. Let's just have a business meeting while we're here.
Yes.
Can I ask you something that just popped into my head while we were having this podcast?
If she said no, it'd be awkward, wouldn't it?
She just said no. Okay, next.
I was just worried with the way he was like.
Job titles, right?
Yeah. Are they any good?
Job titles. How much of job titles is necessary, and how much of it is ego driven, and how much of it is important as a recruiter to get right? And I suppose I specifically have a kind of a struggle with the title of CEO, right? So I'm not sure.
Is that because you don't know which one of you can be it?
No, I know which one can be it.
I'll be a thought leader.
I'm just not sure how to broach the subject, and now I need you to.
Okay, so we'll talk about it like we did not plan this.
No, let's talk about the perks of being a CEO.
I see people who set up, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to offend anybody because I think
we have a lot of customers who are CEOs.
Part of it's my ignorance, right? But
careful. At
what point are you the CEO? And what does CEO mean versus managing director? It's genuinely, I don't know the difference. And I think the imposter in me says you can't be the CEO. And I think maybe a bit of ignorance says CEOs must have, 50 staff, 100 staff. It has to be a bigger company.
I know a company with 6 staff, and one of them is a CEO.
But there you go, right? So from the outside, we go, that doesn't look right. But that's because we're not doing it. So enlighten us as to...
I think, but if we go back to even the conversation we had when I was hiring for you, we were debating back and forth about the title.
Yes.
And I was saying to you, look, just because it says manager, it doesn't mean it manages someone. It is, yes, I think titles are all about the ego. 100%. And I think you have to be very careful when you are hiring what you go to market with. If someone comes to me and says marketing manager, but I'm paying 45 grand, I'm going, lads, now come on, that's not a marketing manager. Because a marketing manager...
Does that include commission, yeah?
No.
As a marketing manager on commission.
On about. I think when it does come to stuff, you have to be mindful about titles and stuff. I think when it comes to a CEO piece, a CEO really is someone who doesn't do the day-to-day of a business.
He's like the representative.
Yeah, he's the face of it. He's the one that goes to the board meetings. And that really is what it is. A managing director runs the day-to-day operations of a business.
You're a managing director, Stevie.
Yes.
So you run the day-to-day.
Now, I actually...
I could be CEO.
I took titles off my emails years ago.
Why?
I went to a management consultancy, right?
Yeah.
Course. Well, I wouldn't say management consultancy. We went to the 3 to 5 club with John Heenan, who was here in episode 3.
Yeah.
Episode 3.
And part of that was, forget about these titles. And I really liked the idea of it being, let people, like, maybe it creates a perception that maybe you're not getting the true response from somebody because suddenly they're going to be maybe a bit more polite or a bit more, let whatever they're going to respond to.
Like the respect piece.
Yeah, let them come back to me with who they are based on not knowing my title.
Yeah.
And then I get a better view of who I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
I
think, but that's a personal thing, right? And I think I always say to candidates, stop being hung up on titles.
Yeah.
Just stop. Because it's about the role, it's about the job, it's about what you're going to learn, it's about what you're going to do. What are you going to achieve when you go into that company? I think we cannot go through life because one company's marketing manager could manage a team of 5, another company's marketing manager could manage a team of 1 or be a standalone role, and the exact same salary, the exact same expectation and growth piece. I just think that it's very hard to go through the world going, like, I'm a director. I don't say to people, I'm a director.
I say it every day. I don't know.
My team 5 like, you liar, yeah. But I don't. I'm a recruitment consultant.
Right.
And that's what I do. I am a recruitment consultant. The director piece for me does not involve my day-to-day of my job. That is the other part of my job that I do. It is about the overall growth and the team piece and all that. But I think you have to be confident in your abilities and what you're doing to go with a title. Like, if I wanted to be really egotistic, I would like, well, I'm a director of here and I'm non-executive director of there. Like, that's just me blowing smoke up my own ego. Am I good at what I do? Or am I not? Because if I'm good, then no one cares what my title is because they're going, oh, did you know that Emma girl? She's amazing at what she does. Like, and I'd say that to everyone. And even when clients come to me and go, oh, what title should I put on this? I'm like, well, what's the role? Let's look at the role and what's important. Some of my clients, my bigger ones, will say, we'll go to market with this role and title, but it actually doesn't bother me what they want to call themselves. because I want the right person. So I think that's always a good way to look at it. And I think with the CEO thing, I think you'd be wasted. Wasted.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks 1,000.
Anytime. Sure, I can just come in and be a non-exec director for you.
Love it.
Right.
Take
so
over
I won't be the CEO anytime soon.
No.
So
a slot has opened up for me.
That's not to say it's the wrong title. It's just whatever you want yourself.
It's whatever you want to be. Yeah. Like, what do you want your team to see you as? What's important for them to see you?
You don't want to know the answer to that.
No,
it's
you
all
don't.
wrong. Honestly, you don't.
But you know what I mean,
I know the
though?
answer.
Yeah, but I also think, like, when it comes to, like, my boss column, he's the managing director. And like that, he'd never let me say to someone, oh, you'll talk to my MD column. He'd be like, you'll talk to my colleague column.
I cringe if when referred to even as the boss. To be honest with you. It does just... Yes, that is the necessary function, but...
Of course, you have to have it.
I'm just going to ask my boss. It's just...
Yeah, that's just weird.
It's weird. It's just...
But you are.
Hang
That's
on.
the reality of the situation.
Yeah, you
but
are
I'm
a
only
boss.
21. Do you know what I mean? And you're hanging on to this feeling.
Does COVID have affected his years in counting? Yeah, that's okay.
You don't... It's
thinks
not...
he's 22 now.
Yeah.
No, but
it's a whole different area, isn't it?
No, but it is, and I think it just comes down to it's a human egotistic thing.
Yeah.
What's the hardest thing about your job right now?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that.
Do you like that one?
Yeah. Bloody everything. I know. I think. Look, I think the market's, and you know what? I'm actually very conscious about even answering these. Yeah. Even when someone does ask this question,
the market is crazy right now. Actually,
it is. Yeah. But it's not like, I don't want to keep on saying the market is crazy so much so that it turns people off hiring and recruitment and making growth in their businesses, because I think that's going to go against everything that we've come out of last year. It's challenging, but I think the market always is in different ways. Yeah. But right now, hands down, candidates and clients are not even on the same book.
Really?
There are so misaligned. So
financially?
Everything. So, okay, take for last year, there was... Now, as an agency last year, we didn't have a year that I was like, I'm off to Barbados, lads, see ya, and coming back in 5 years. But we kept our head above water and we grafted like every other company did, and we worked harder than we've ever been. And we had some amazing roles. Like, I filled a lot of heads of last year. And I loved it because...
Sorry, say that again?
Heads of roles. So roles, like roles over 100,000 in a market
I never heard that phrase before.
Heads of.
Because it doesn't apply to us. That's new.
And it was great and it was really good. And then I thought, geez, this year is going to be amazing. There's going to be so much going on. And it has been, but it's been challenging. So like candidates last year for me were like, no, I'm not going to move, Emma. You know, my company's been really good to me. You know, and what I mean by those candidates, they would have been candidates that naturally would have been in their career that maybe 3-4 years in a row that would start looking, because that's when we all start looking. It's kind of that 36 months. That's when we actively start looking for a change. We want to change the environment. And I'm like, yeah, fine, no problem. So then this year they're like, right, I'm ready to go. But they're like, well, I didn't get a pay rise last year. So the $5,000 I was meant to get last year has now become $20,000 for my next job. So candidates have this massive financial piece that they want because they want to be rewarded and kind of repaid for what they missed out on. And clients are going...
That's an unrealistic expectation really to have, isn't it?
Of course it is.
No one's going to pay that out.
No, of course not. The average is... To get someone to move, it is about 10 to 12.5% on their packet. That is what you need to put on the table for someone to move. But then clients, the employer, is very misaligned. Well, sure, it's great culture. Like, lads, it's all about culture. It's all about fit. It's all about attitude, loyalty, and commitment. There are 5 things on our website, and I will always stand by it. But you also have to meet in the middle and go, actually, you're underselling them a little bit. Like, we're going to have 5% inflation next year. It's like, salaries have to now follow that. This is the problem. But you can't keep on going, well, I'm going to pay them like 66 to 500. Well, they're on 68. And that's what I've been getting an awful lot of, is offers that are under their current salary. And I think that's an insult. Don't ever offer less than under their current salary.
That's interesting.
My biggest piece of advice.
Yeah.
If someone is transitioning, that means that I'm a recruiter. If I was to go and be a recruiter somewhere else, I'd expect more money. Okay? I'm moving, I'm going to expect a 10 to 12.5% increase. If I'm a recruiter who's going in to sell pharmaceutical, I'm probably going to move for the same money because I'm going into an industry that I don't know. I'm taking my personality and my skill set, but I'm adapting to a completely different product. I'm taking from a service into a product, different way of working, understanding journeys and all that. So I would expect to probably move over at the same salary. If I'm someone who's really driven, I'll go, you know what, Emma, I'm on 50, I'll move for 50, or if they came back with 48 and there was really good commission and bonus structure, I'd happily look at it.
Of course, yeah.
Right, they're 1 in 10 that I'd get with. But the problem is, when I get a client that says to me, oh, well, they're on 68, I'm going to offer them 66. I just go quiet in the phone. And they're like, are you there? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but I'm not going back with that offer.
You're worse than my wife.
But it's not from a fee perspective, and I think that's what all companies think of. It's not.
It's a lady skill. Just go quiet.
You go quiet.
Like, the mind races.
Yeah, you're like, what do I do? But it's not from a fee perspective. And I would say this to anyone out there hiring, like, don't disrespect someone's. Like, they've gone and interviewed. They're obviously really engaged in your company. You're really engaged in them. The last thing you want to do is go, and that's what we're dealing with at the moment. So is candidate and clients on completely different pages, salaries being all over the place, no one being aligned. And I think it's challenging, because I'm like the counsellor in the middle. I'm like the marriage counsellor. Go, now what's your opinion and what do you think? And
you can't be a pimp and a marriage counsellor at the same time.
Yeah, I can, because once I pimp them out, they've got married and now I'm their counsellor.
Job done.
I'm telling you, I cover the whole cycle. But it's true, and I think definitely it's the biggest challenge. It's trying to get a client to understand, like, salaries. Thing is, I was actually showing Paddy this earlier. We have a site that we've launched called mysalary.ie.
Right.
Another plug. And what it does is that every year agencies will bring out salary survey guides, but they're usually brought out on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
Our website gives real lifetime data. Now we're in the massive of a relaunch of it. I'm super excited. Saw it yesterday. And I would actually go to a client. If you don't believe me, go on there. That is salaries and data of people in Dublin who are working that role, and it will show you where you're pitching that
it's like
salary.
going to the property register when you want to see how much
exactly that it is. So like, and I think that is the biggest thing right now, is just no one's on the same page, and I don't see it happening in the next 6 months. I'll be honest with you, I don't. I think the market's going to continue to be challenging, and I think if I was setting up my own business and I was making my first hire, or if I was already in a business and I had one or two and I was looking to hire more, I would be nervous.
Yeah.
I'd be going, how am I going to compete? What's going to give me the edge?
Yeah.
And I think that is a big scary factor for people. I really do think that is just what we're seeing as an agency from that perspective.
Wow.
Right.
I can see Paddy going, yeah, here she's off now.
No, I never said anything.
Did we under offer someone?
I'm actually thinking, like, how many times have we done this?
Yeah.
I want 50,000. You can have 30. Okay, done. Like, well, not that's extreme, but I sometimes think that.
Well, do people lie about the salary they're
I
on?
think there has to be balance there again.
Yeah.
Where people walk into a role going, I'm looking for 48,000 here, and you're going,
Yeah.
that is completely out of
There's a
range
realistic
of your role,
piece, 100%. And I think it's been realistic. And I actually, before I met with you guys this morning, I had a call with a client and I said, look, you know, we're talking about negotiations, and I will full on say to someone, if my candidates are being unrealistic, I am the first person to put my hand up and go, hold on a second here.
So you'll vet that at the start. You'll say, what's your salary expectation?
100%. So now there's candidates I work with who will say to me, I'm on X amount, and I'm going, what? You are so underpaid. It's a disgrace, right?
We've
so
seen that.
I will 100% be like, no.
I'm one of them.
You need to talk to your CEO.
Me too.
He's going to that CEO guy.
My time to shine. What you want, boy?
Even here, job titles and salary increases. But no, I think it's like, when you do think about that, I just think that, one, nowadays, everything is on... we don't do P60s, P45s anymore, so you can't actually see, right? Because it's all on the live register, so it does make it easier to lie. But I think you will know realistically, because when you guys
can
interview,
you ask for salary? What you call them? Pay slips.
Pay slip.
No, but I have a friend who recently moved and he had to give pay slips.
No,
it's the first time I
If
ever heard of it.
if you're interviewing somebody and you say,
Never.
that's
no, that's strange.
can you say, if someone tells you their salary, can you just go around and say, prove it?
He was going,
show me your bank statement.
That's mad. I thought I was out of
How
tune.
I would always say to someone is, what is your salary expectation?
It depends on who you're asking. Like.
Always ask them that question.
Yeah.
Always ask them that question.
That opens up a whole world of crazy
Well, no,
answers.
because I think...
we usually ask that question.
We do, and we get the maddest fucking... You're like, what?
But like, will they say to you, so what
that's where the negotiations begin.
But you want a good salesperson to negotiate with you. You don't want them to come in and take the first offer.
No.
If you're hiring for your team, do you want them to be a good negotiator or not?
Yes, I do.
So where are they going to start their best negotiations is with you. Is on that salary that you're offering them.
Yeah.
And I know salespeople, no offense to any salespeople, I am one myself, but I know that we can blow our own trumpet and go, I'm not taking that money. But the thing is, at the end of the day, if someone says to me, I'm on X amount, and I'll go, oh, is that base and bonus? And they'll go, oh yeah, it is actually. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, okay, so your base is around X amount. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's around that. Like, I will know from my industry who's paid what and what they're doing. And I know it's hard from an employer to determine that. But you have to be confident in saying, okay, so what does that breakdown look like? If someone's giving you a figure of, like, say, 60,000, you're going, there's no way you're on that. I would say to them, what's that breakdown? So what's the base? What's your commission structure look like? Put that question back at them. Because what that creates is them going, oh, I can't get away with this. I have to be honest.
So would you have a fair idea then what typical salaries are based on job titles in the market?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So how much would you give a new business salesperson with maybe 10 years experience?
Well, they're
basic.
not. Are you, when you say new business, are they opening doors?
Yeah.
So no account management.
No account management.
So
maybe 5% account management.
Okay, so business development manager with 10 years experience.
Is that what you call them? Business development manager?
Yeah, you can,
okay.
because it implies something. Business development manager with 10 years experience selling a product into the B2B industry.
Okay.
Yeah, you're probably looking at anywhere from about 55,000 plus commission or bonus structure on top of that. Then obviously big things like that we really see is lunch allowance. Unreceipted lunch allowance is extra money.
And would they have very high target expectations from the employer?
That's illegal.
Yeah, I know. Doesn't matter. Just do it. I know, please don't do it. Please check with your solicitors before you do. But it's a big thing. But we have to look at perks in life.
Yeah.
We have to look at like different ways and different incentives in doing it.
I hope our employees aren't listening.
Jesus Christ.
But obviously does not apply
to a fridge upstairs with ham,
yeah, you do
cheese.
actually. And you just brought down chocolate.
I know.
So that's great. That's free lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kit them out every week.
I think from the perspective of targets, it really comes down to, like, I will work with some candidates at that level who will have anywhere from 300,000 up to 4 million, depending on what their sales cycle is.
But
and
they
the
couldn't
product.
be on, like, the 300,000 couldn't be on 50 grand a year. Like,
100%.
do you know what I mean? Couldn't
Why
be.
would they not be?
Sure, they couldn't cover themselves.
Paddy and I are going to get into it.
Can I ask you a question, right?
Think about it.
You mentioned you only had one that didn't work out this year, right?
Yeah.
And just on the sideline, right?
Did you two go upstairs and talk and go?
No.
No.
So come here. Massive credit to you that, like, that was us, right? And our relationship didn't change as a result.
No.
And you're
grateful.
here today, right? Which is massive credit to you, right? But on that, how do you determine what is successful and what's not? At what time period do you say that worked out? Is it just the 3-month period?
No, I don't think it is. I think it's really important. Like, I really, really, really fight for someone to stay definitely a minimum year. I don't think you know a business until you're 12 months into it.
A year is a successful hire.
Yeah, I think a year is a successful hire. Look, to be honest with you, some people would say, well, they've lasted 3 months, that's successful, or they've passed probation, because technically that's how we all judge success, right? Is probation period, if someone has passed it.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I love when someone, I do that year check-in with someone and they're going, it's amazing, Emma, I've got promoted, or I've got this, or the team's grown. Like, I love that. Those to me are my success stories.
Yeah.
I think industry standard is going to be the past probation and we're keeping them, or we're not ringing you saying, oh, they're gone within 90 days.
Would you hire somebody to work in Lidl or Aldi?
To do what there? Are we plugging Lidl and Aldi there?
No,
they're not sponsoring.
Could be quite the opposite. Could be quite the opposite.
Why would you ask this question?
Yeah.
Because I always wondered, like, what sort of
Like,
person.
in retail staff
Well, no.
or head office staff.
People who want to work in Lidl and Aldi, I just like. I actually went for, after college, I went for a management.
They're management course ones.
And it was the first time I sat down with a recruiter.
Yeah.
Company called The Achievers.
Did you just plug another agency on this?
Yeah.
Wow.
Are they still around?
I must go and call.
Sorry, we'll edit that. a company called Boop. Okay.
Thank God.
Okay, but it was actually a brilliant experience, right? Because this lady Paula sat down with me, and I told her what I wanted to do, and she just said, "I'm not putting you forward." I said, "Why not?" She says, "You've too much. You've too much drive, too much ambition."
Yeah. Well, 100%.
Right, and to me that was that was it didn't make sense to me. And she said, because you're going into Lidl and Aldi, she said, they do not want that. They want you to go in there without that drive and ambition.
Can we have this conversation?
Do the day-to-day stuff. Huh?
No, but it is
Well, it
it is
before
true,
I met
though.
you. Don't get hurt.
No, don't worry. I'm not fucking hurt.
Though, like, I do have candidates where will come to me for a certain role and I'm like, actually, that company's not for you.
Yeah.
They're not in line with what you want. So that fair play to her as a recruiter, because that's what we should do. We should be going, actually, no, they're not in line with your career goals and you're not in line with what they want in someone. That's a mismatch.
Well,
like, that's like wearing black and navy.
Yeah, no, she's doing a good job, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
And actually, now that I think of it,
do you want to get her on the podcast?
She got me a job after that, and that's where I met Paddy. So she made this happen. She pimped me.
Do you know, I feel like this is like a radio show. We could do a radio show.
We could.
Hang on, just cut to the ads.
I'm actually thinking that.
What sort of songs would we play in between?
Oh, I'm real like...
I'm thinking Steely Dan right now.
Who?
Steely Dan.
What song?
Ah, come on.
I don't...
Who's Steely Dan?
Stop it.
Do you know who it is? Is it a person or a band?
It's okay.
Okay. Oh no, I'd be a bit more like Wyclef Jean and stuff like that.
Okay, we're not doing a radio show then.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Or a bit of like Adele's new one.
Did he have more than one song?
Yeah.
Did he?
The other one I know is that I've gone to
sing
November,
one there.
isn't it?
Sing one for us.
If I start singing, I'm going to get so many requests and I'll stop being a recruiter.
Holy shit.
I think Paddy's regretting doing this one. He's like, is anyone else going on this podcast?
One time.
Oh yeah, that one is it. It's alright, that's next
song,
week.
what song would we play, Paddy? What song would we play?
Listen, I'm just worrying what colour font I'm going to put
We
on
have
the
mics,
CEO
we have
business card.
headphones,
Don't
we're
worry.
doing a
I'm
radio
switched
show. What
off.
song are we playing?
Yeah.
I'm not
What's
even
your
here.
kind of jam?
Fake
Bob
Collective.
Marley?
No.
Oh,
No.
really?
Everything.
Would you be more of like a trans dance kind of guy?
Okay, so I have been banging out a bit of binary finery in the morning. All right, that's a fact. A bit of Tiesto.
On it with him, aren't I?
But.
Is
Then
there
I
a
would-
little sticky Stevie Wonder coming in?
No, never a bit of
Okay.
Stevie fucking Wonder.
Okay.
Jesus.
What?
No, like,
like Stevie.
I'd like a little bit of classical.
Oh,
Calm the
really?
mind, yeah.
Oh,
for
okay.
sure.
I'll
like,
bring in a piano and I'll play you a bit of
Go for
Pure Elise or Mozart.
Do it.
But I mean, no piano, unless you guys sell.
Are you a pianist?
I am, yes. Grade
Very
A
good.
qualified.
Accomplished.
Are you?
Grade A qualified.
Excellent.
We started playing when we were very young, my sister and I.
Wow, brilliant.
Oh, but sure, guys, I'm
Bit of
from the
Chopin.
country. From so many times. Chopsticks are special now at the moment.
Really jealous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are. We're very fortunate that our parents pushed us in to do it. Hated it every Friday evening
Yeah.
at 5 o'clock.
I did lessons as a kid and I hated it, Frank, so I can relate to that.
Yeah.
And
We
as a-
play the guitar. Well, I play and Stevie watches me. That's not true. He plays too.
Sounds really
that's
wrong.
we both play the guitar.
Is that why you guys are in your office going, let's play the guitar?
But
Yeah.
there's-
You watch, I play.
Well,
I play guitar, don't mind him.
am I joking? He's a good player.
I feel like he'd
He'll
probably...
tell you. You ask him.
Really?
He'll tell you he's
Do you
a good
not have a guitar down in your iGym?
There's one upstairs in the office.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the iMusic upstairs.
iMusic.
There's the radio
Where we play our
station. for us.
iTunes.
There's the radio station for us. Like, I think that's actually
Boom.
perfect.
We're on to
Okay,
something.
Right, I think we're coming to the end.
We are, I think.
Yeah.
Are we really?
Oh, God,
But
Paddy,
we've-
do you
we've
have any
done a
more
lot,
to
haven't
talk
we?
about? Have I
done a
not
lot.
literally covered
Have we?
everything?
What?
Right, my
I saw-
question I'd have to you guys.
Joe Rogan's
All right,
episode
you're
last
asking
week.
us.
Oh my God,
Okay, here
Joe
we go.
Rogan
Doesn't work that
No,
way.
no, but it's really
No,
important.
go ahead.
I think it's really because I think it's important because like you guys have a great success story, and when I was hiring for you, I said that you have a great success story. You're very honest about it. You put on your site. You tell the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys were to go back and do it all again, which is
Yeah.
something I did talk to you about earlier, what would you say to someone? Okay, so say I wasn't as fortunate as I am in where I am in the business. My end goal to people group is to go, thanks, Colm. Here's a nice handshake. Off you go, right?
Yeah.
Because I stand by what that brand has been today and I want to be part of it for good. If I didn't do that, would I go out on my own and set up, like I think all recruiters think that? What would your advice be?
You just told us you were planning on setting up a recruitment agency before we started this.
You weren't meant to put
I
that
meant
out
to put that
there.
in the podcast. Thank God there's an edit.
The
But
cat
what would
is
you
out of
what
the
would you do
bag.
differently though?
Yeah. Good. No, that's a good question.
That
Yeah.
is a great question. Yeah, I've never been asked that before.
So I'm just working off this sheet and I don't see
And
anything
that
there.
concludes.
There is no notes
No.
on this one.
Okay.
We've
So
gone off script. Fuck.
the cliche and
Yeah.
most brutally honest and
Yeah.
predictable answer is we wouldn't change anything because it brought us here, right?
Yeah, of course.
So if you were to delve into lots of the little details, of course you'd change lots of things, right?
Yeah.
So would it have brought us here? Probably, maybe in better shape. With a bit more money.
Oh man,
Hey, look at this iGym. It's going to get you.
You
rich.
know,
so true.
But so our business model is our philosophy is very much that we're just trying to enjoy life, have the business, have it run itself, and not be flogged, and
Yeah.
come in enjoying it every day.
Yeah.
Work with a team that we really love,
Yeah.
and engage with, and like a little family. So,
Nice.
what would we do differently? I can't really say much. There's a lot of people we wouldn't have hired,
Yeah.
but then we
If
wouldn't
we
have learned.
hadn't hired him, we wouldn't have found the people we have now.
We wouldn't have learned some of the stuff along the way. Yeah, there's a couple of clients that we would have said no to
Yeah.
because that is a really important thing. That
Yeah.
Fuck it, let's call them out and say who it is. Let's do it. Come
On
on.
loudspeaker.
like, look, there's loads. There's not too many, but there's a good
Yeah,
few.
yeah,
You know.
Yeah. But I think that's that's a personal like that's you guys evolving as people
Yeah.
as well, not just as a company, right?
100%. I think I would have been a better, more. I probably would have been more of a manager. Manager's not the right word. I would have been a bit tougher maybe earlier on.
Yep.
And I'm not saying I'm tougher now.
Yeah.
But more assertive maybe, and more, this is the plan and this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, I wanted...
Because your goals are more defined now.
Goals are more defined, and I would have loved to have been able to define our target customer much earlier.
I agree with that.
Because
it's really important.
We wanted to sell everything that we had to everyone.
Everybody that would take your call, right?
Because you're desperate for the money.
Of course you are.
But now we're selective, highly selective, and that's the most liberating feeling when you're going, right, I'm going to say no today to you, and then we're going to say yes to this one because this suits what we're trying to do. They appreciate what our service is about. So saying no along the way would have been great, but you have to have...
But it's respecting yourself as a brand and as a company.
But we also couldn't have afforded to say no.
No, and I think that's the hardest thing about business, isn't it? When you're doing on your own, is you just will take anything because you're like, I need that money. That bottom line is in the black and I need to get it back in the red. Yeah.
Another thing I would have done is I would have listened to more audiobooks earlier on. When I started listening to them...
An audiobook?
Oh, I love it.
Oh, gee. No, I'm a good old school pick a book up kind of
I do that.
Yeah, I love it. I can't beat... that feeling of a book. Like, and typically, obviously, I'm reading the Aisling books because I'm from the country.
Right.
I remember the Aisling school copybooks. That's all I ever.
Oh my god! Yeah, they still do them. No, I love a book. I can't listen because I was having this conversation with a couple of candidates and stuff. When you read a book, and this is what I've been talking about recruitment, onboarding within the pandemic. When you read a book and you create a character, or you listen to an audiobook and you create that character, and I'm referring this to hiring as well. Someone starting a job. I feel like when you go and watch the movie, aren't you always disappointed because the characters are never what you thought they would be? And I feel that we're going to see more resignations from people who started companies during pandemics if they haven't gone into the office and met their team. Yeah. Because they're going to go in, they're going to meet with them and go, whoa, you're not what I thought you were.
You're much nicer on the phone.
Yeah, I created an image of you, and I think that's where...
I couldn't smell your farts over Zoom.
Wow.
Can you please edit that part? But I do think that that's definitely something that we're going to see a lot of between now and the end of the year because there's more going back into the office.
Paddy, you were saying... he was
talking about himself and how he's grown as a person.
Thanks for the
You're
update.
welcome anytime.
Have you grown as a person?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you think if you didn't go into business, though, you would still be that sales guy? That was just all about me, myself, hitting money and targets?
No, I was always going to own my own company.
Yeah, you said that.
Was never not part of the plan.
Yeah. Why was that, though? Was it just from the perspective of actually doing something in the way that you felt was the right way to run a business?
No, the honest answer is... I think it stems from my childhood. Yeah. And not having the things that everybody else had. Yeah. And seeing, gauging what success looked like and saying, no, I want to be like that. Yeah. Or leaving school mid-teens and realising that, look, you made the wrong move here. Yeah. And then having to work extra hard to get to where 100%. Everybody else was at, you know what I mean? Yeah.
But I think having that drive coming from that is amazing because it doesn't tend to happen. You can just go down that path and go, I'll just end up working.
Definitely that's my drive. And also to have workplace experiences where your position in that company was determined by how you got on with your manager.
Yeah. And how I know, right?
Yeah, and basically how, if you didn't have a relationship with them, you were going into work every day and you were having a horrible experience.
Yeah, I hate it.
So I'm not a control freak, but I'm not a control freak at all, actually. But the one thing I do want to control is my life. Yeah. And the only way I could get that control was by creating something for me that would allow me to provide for my family and have a future. And that was to build my own business. I had a business before, and Stevie worked for me in the days. That's how we got to know each other. And
I just can't imagine.
And like... There was a lot.
It wasn't very pleasant.
No, it wasn't very pleasant at all. But again, you're young. You're learning. You're finding your feet. And back then in the workplace, like I was very arrogant. I was just. Yeah. But when you,
if the word prick come to mind?
Yeah, arrogant prick. I think is the right. No, it's a fair say. I was like.
Yeah, but I think that's a big thing that you could admit that, though, because an awful lot of people, especially, it's not just saying with industry piece. Like I know salespeople are a lot more confident. We're a lot more confident and cocky in our abilities.
And that's going to get you nowhere, in my opinion.
It's never.
People see that and go, I don't want to deal with you.
But
I want someone who's
able to
honest.
admit that, I think, is amazing. And able to go, actually, do you know what? I was an arse back in the day.
100%. And like, I'm not perfect now, but what I am now is conscious of other people.
Yeah.
Conscious of what I say and what I say and how that affects other people.
How is the impact of what I say?
The impact on what I'm saying. And then to be mindful of, and all these things you learn on this journey that, you know, I wouldn't have learned from a book. It's a life lesson. You know, the way.
Well, that's what it is. Like, I know there's so many books out there, and I know a lot of like CEOs and entrepreneurs read all these books. And I think, because I don't read them, am I ever going to be one? But I think for me, what we were talking about earlier is it's that hands-on life lesson learning.
Listen,
no book is ever going to tell you.
The last book I read was in 1994 in fourth year. After that, I've never read a book. But what I'm saying is, right?
But you listen to audiobooks.
I listen to audiobooks,
yeah.
I'm that type of...
You still get the information in, you know?
Yeah, somehow. But what I'm also trying to say is that when you're on a journey of having your own business, and when you're trying to hire people and you're trying to create a culture, the catalyst for me of owning my own business and not having somebody else determine my future, I also want that peace of mind. I want my employees to have the same peace of mind to go that we're not that employer. You know, we're very much kind of even keel. Everybody's part of the team. Don't sweat it. We'll do everything to the very nth degree to make sure that you have a long lasting role in the business. And that's kind of reflective in our culture as well. Like, so I don't think I do anything different. If I had it, I learned a lot from it. It was invaluable. I wouldn't have learned it in a college. I wouldn't have learned it in books. It was pure life lessons.
And I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to companies of your size, is actually going, people aren't going to stay forever. We're not going to always get them on the journey. They're not always going to treat it like it's their own. And it's accepting that. And going, that's okay. They've been part of that journey for us, now on to the next. So I think that's always the biggest thing as well when it comes to SMEs.
I would like to think that we are exceptional as an employer in our industry and our size compared to others, where we're not, where we're more people focused and not, you know, we put our employees first, and then because once our employees are happy and once the team is happy and everything's going fine,
it's an environment, isn't it?
The results are going to come, 100%. The performance is going to be there, they're going to want to come to work, and it's different.
They'll want that end goal that you all want.
And
I think, but that's what it is. It's surround yourself with the best. Because none of us do it.
So there, that's answer your question.
There you go. Well, I'm so glad I brought you on this podcast interview. That was my trick all along, get my own podcast going. It'll be called The Big Red Chair with Emma.
I think you do a great job if you did it.
Yeah,
could you imagine?
fantastic.
Would you
Will you have us on?
Absolutely. I'm going to buy, obviously I'm going to buy my chairs, my get. But yeah, Big Red Chairs, I'll have to buy them.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good podcast.
It would.
Yeah. Or we could just combine one.
We could.
I could get in a fourth speaker and I could
just sit over here.
I could go on. I could just sit on the bench. We could bring in someone. We'll try that for the next podcast.
Let's do it.
Amazing.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've covered enough. We've covered enough stuff.
Absolutely.
I think, for an episode. We might have to do a part 2.
Jeez, lads, could you imagine what part 2 could look like? Paddy might need a month to prepare himself.
Oh yeah.
So Emma Keller, it's been fantastic having you today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure spending the morning with you.
It's been great. It's been really good.
Great crack.
Yeah.
Might apply for a job here myself.
And we thought you were going to be shy and quiet.
I bet you wished I was, right?
Would have been a difficult podcast.
That makes this hard.
Imagine I was like, giving you yes and no answers. Don't do it.
Never.
Do not create a question that gives a yes and no answer. Please don't do it.
No.
It drives me mad, doesn't it? No, thanks for having me. It's been
Thanks
amazing.
for being our first female guest as well.
Oh, wow. I feel so empowered.
Broke the mold.
Absolutely.
People were accusing us of being chauvinistic pigs.
Who said that?
That wouldn't be hard.
Who said that?
All the trolls on our...
because we've so many. Yeah.
Is that you trolling Paddy again?
Paddy, chauvinist pig. Steve, get off the comment section, will you?
He's like, I'm in creating engagement. This
is going to go viral.
This is what you need.
Jesus.
Your CEO, the non-CEO.
Hashtag Equal Opportunities Podcast. Okay?
Absolutely. We'll tag it in that. And thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Brilliant.
Guys.
Thanks, Emma.
Amazing.
So next podcast is going to be in a couple of weeks. This one probably won't get out till mid-November.
Yeah.
And we'll probably do one or two maybe this side of Christmas, and plenty more coming next after Christmas. We've big plans. Business Fitness Podcast.
Amazing.
And please, if you're watching this, we'll say it early on anyway, but like, share, comment.
Yep.
Please spread the word. Let us know what you'd like us to cover in the future. If you have any questions, it's hello@thebusinessfitnesspodcast.ie. We've got one email so far to date. I'm not afraid to say.
But it was actually somebody who wanted to work here.
It was.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, we inspired him to come and start with us. Yeah.
Put me out of a job, but fair play.
Yeah. So no, you need to go talk to Emma. I'm sorry, we can't deal direct anymore.
No, our agent is Emma. You need to talk to her. Yeah. That's a very creative. Very creative. Fair play.
Yeah.
Admire.
Okay.
No, brilliant.
Thanks a lot.
Guys.
Over and out.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.